Okay, so in this video we will be talking about the k-means clustering algorithm. Okay, so what is this k-means clustering algorithm? So it is basically an unsupervised learning algorithm which is used to basically cluster similar type of data set into one cluster. Let's say this is a cluster and all the similar type of data sets, okay, all the similar type of data points or data sets are basically clustered into this one cluster only. Okay, so this type of thing, there might be multiple cluster. This is the second cluster, let's say this is the third cluster, and the similar data points are basically clustered into one single cluster like this, okay. So this is what it is. Now let's do this k-means clustering algorithm. Okay, so basically let's see a numerical example. So what is the numerical example? Basically, so there are 8 data points. Okay, there are 8 points. Let me write this for you guys, x and y. So we have to basically cluster these 8 points into 3 clusters. Okay, we have to basically classify 8 points into 3 clusters. What are the 3 points? Okay, so see, 8 points, classify them. Let me write the problem statement into 3 clusters. So first of all, let me write the 8 points. So what is the first point? The first point is 2 comma 10. What is the second point? A2, it is given by 2 comma 5. The third point, that is A3, is given by 3 comma 4. The fourth point, which is A4, is given by 5 comma 8. The fifth point, which is 7 comma 5. The sixth point is 6 comma 4, and the seventh point is 1 comma 2. The eighth point and the last point, which is 4 comma 9. So here you go, we have all the 8 points, and we have to cluster these 8 points into 3 different functions, 3 different clusters. So here we will be using a distance function, okay, for in order to see which cluster every data point belongs to. Okay, so we have to use this distance function, and that will be basically the Euclidean distance. So okay, the distance function that we'll be using is basically x2 minus x1 minus y plus y2 minus y1, right? So that we will see, don't worry. So basically, first of all, what I need to do is I need to make the center clusters. So see, basically what I have to do is I have to classify them into 3 clusters. So first of all, I need 3 clusters. Okay, first of all I need 3 clusters. So this is the first cluster, this is the second cluster, this is the third cluster. Now what are the points that should be inside these clusters? So basically, first of all in the first cluster, which point will be there? In the first cluster, the point will be this one, which is 2 comma 10. The first point that will be inside the first cluster. Okay, so I'm just gonna be writing over here a1. Then in the second cluster, which will be the, so you have to take even distance points. Okay, so for example, if I take this one, then after, if I jump 3, 1 2 3, where I get to a4, so I will take it in the second cluster. Now again, if I jump 3, so 1 2 3, so this is the third one. Okay, so I can jump 3 times and take that point inside the cluster. So the first is 210, because I need to classify it into 3 clusters, right? I need to classify it into 3 clusters, so I will be jumping 3 times. So this is the first one. Then I will jump 3 times, 1 2 3, and take that point in the second cluster. Then again I will jump 3 times, and I will take this point where I reach as the inside the third cluster. So this will be a1, then a4, right? 5 8. So a4 will be in the second cluster, and then a7, which is 1 2, that will be in the third cluster. Now I will be using the distance function. Okay, so now I will be seeing which point belongs to which cluster. So for that, first of all, what is the point? The first point is obviously the first point is so basically now we will be calculating the distance of this one with this one. Okay, so a1 and a2, in order to see to which cluster it belongs. Okay, so a1 a2, a1 and a2. So we have to calculate the distance between A1 and A2. So what is A1? A1 is 210 and A2 is 25. 210, this is A1 and A2 is 25, right? If I am not wrong. Okay, now I have to calculate the distance between A1 and A2 to see in which cluster does it belong. So what I'm going to be doing, the distance is basically 2 minus 2, okay, modulus plus 10 minus 5 modulus. So what I am getting 5, okay. Now next I need to calculate the distance of A2. This is the new point, right? Now I need to calculate the distance of A2 from this point, okay, from this point. So what is this point? That is A4. So A2 and A4, I need to calculate this distance. So I'm going to be calculating what is A2 and what is A4. Okay, let me see. A2 is 25, A4 is 58. So A2 is 25 and A4 is 58. So I'm going to be calculating the distance. It is very simple. I'm just going to be using the modulus function. So it is 2 minus 5 plus mod of 5 minus 8. So what I'm getting? I'm getting, it is 3 and 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Next I need to calculate the distance of the point A2 from this point, okay, from this point A2 and A7, okay. So let me calculate A2 and A7. So now A2 with A7 I need to check. So what is A2? A2 is 25 and what is A7? Let me check what is A7. A7 is 1 comma 2. So I'm just gonna be writing 1 comma 2. Now I will be calculating the distance. So it is nothing but 2 minus 1 plus next is 5 minus 2, right? So it is basically 1 plus 3, which is 4, isn't it? Right? No, wait, I think I did something wrong. 1 2, right? Okay. And A2 is 2 5. So 1 minus 2 and 2 minus 5. Yeah, I think this is what it is. Yes, this is it. Now what we need to see, we have to see the minimum distance, right? We have to see the minimum distance for A2. So I have to just take the minimum distance. So if I take the minimum, what I get the minimum as 4. So obviously A2 belongs to which cluster? By doing what, I get 4. So it is basically the distance of A2 and A7, right? It is the distance of A2 and A7. So basically I see that A2 is belonging with, is nearest to A7 and A7 belongs to cluster 3. That means A2 also belongs to cluster 3 because the minimum distance is this. Next I need to calculate with other data points, okay. So basically next I have to calculate it with what are the main points inside the clusters A1, A4 and A2. Okay, so I have to calculate with that only. So next A3. So first of all I will be calculating the distance between A3 and A1. Then I will be calculating the distance between A3 and A4. And then I will be calculating the distance between A3 and A2. So the least distance will okay, so let's do. I'm not that much good at English, you guys know, but still I have to do this. Okay, so what is A3? A3 is 3 comma 4. Let me write that. A3 is 3 comma 4. And what is A1? What is A1? A1 is 2 comma 10. Okay, so please watch this video as at 1.5x or 2x depending on your capability. So let me calculate the distance. So it is basically 2 minus 3 plus y2 minus y1, right, which is 10 minus 4. So what I get, 2 minus 3 is 1, 10 minus 4 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. Now let me calculate the distance of the point, of this point A3 from A4. So what is the value of A4? A4 is nothing but 5 8, right? 5 8. So let me see. So it is nothing but 3 minus 5 x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1, which is 4 minus 8. So what it is, 3 minus 5 is 2, 4 minus 8 is 4. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Now let me calculate the distance between A3 and A2. A3 and A2. Now what is A3? What is the value of A3? The value of A3 is 3 4. The value of A3 is 3 4. And then what is the value of A2? The value of A2 is 2 5, right? 2 5. So let me calculate the distance. So it is basically 3 minus 2 plus 4 minus 5. So what I get? It is 1 plus 1, which is equals to 2, right? It is equals to 2. Okay, so I have to take the minimum distance. So I have to take the minimum distance. So what is the minimum distance? It is 2, and it is associated with which point? A2, and A2 belongs to which cluster? It belongs to cluster 3. So from here we can easily say that A3 belongs to cluster 2. So from here we can easily say that A3 belongs to cluster 2. Okay, now next we will be seeing the distance of A3. I have seen A3. Now I will be seeing the distance of the point A4 from all the 3 clusters. So let me write what is A4. A4 is nothing but 5, 8. Okay, A4 is nothing but 5, 8. And let me write A1, A4 and A2 as well. So A1 is I think 2, 10. And what is A4? A4 is 5, 8. So I'm just gonna be writing it on top like this. And what is A2? A2 is 2, 5. No, A7, right? A7 is 1, 2. Like this. Okay, now let me calculate A4 with A1. Right, A4 with A1. I will calculate the distance of A4 from A1. So it is basically 5 minus 2 plus obviously 8 minus 10, x2 minus 8 1 plus y2 minus y1, right? So it is nothing but 3, and it is 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now we will be calculating the distance of A4 from the point A4 only. So A4, obviously we will get the distance as 0. So I am sure that A4 will belong to this cluster only. There is no doubt in that. So let's check the next data point. Okay, let's check the next data point. So this is A4 and this is A7. Okay, now what is our next data point? Our next data point after A4 is A5. So let's check A5. To which cluster does it belong? So A5 is nothing but 7, 5, right? A5 is nothing but 7, 5. Yes. So first of all we will be calculating the distance of A5 from A1. So let's calculate A5, A1. So the formula is pretty simple. It is 7 minus 2 modulus plus 5 minus 10. So it is x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1, right? Okay, so it is basically how much? 7 minus 2 is 5 and 5 minus 10 is also 5. So it is total 10. Now I will be calculating the distance of A5 from A4. Okay, so I will be calculating A5, A4. So how will I calculate that? So it is basically x2 minus x1. So what is x2? 7, x1 is 5, y2 is 5 and y1 is this. So I'm just going to be doing 7 minus 5 plus 5 minus 8. So it is 2 plus 3, which is 5. Next I will be calculating the distance of A5 from A7. Okay, so for A5 and A7 what I will be doing? I will be doing the same thing, which is x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. So it is nothing but 7 minus 1 plus y2 minus y1. So it is 5 minus 2. So it is 6 plus 3, which is equals to 9. Now I need to get the minimum. So what is the minimum? Tell me, what is the minimum? The minimum is 5. So 5, that means A4, and A4 belongs to which cluster? Cluster 2. So A5 also belongs to cluster 2. Okay, now I will be seeing the next point. Which is after A5, which is the point that I will be seeing? It is A6, right? So let me see the point A6. So A6 is 6, 4, right? So A6 is 6, 4. So I have to check to which cluster does this A6 point belongs to. Does it belongs to cluster 1 or cluster 2 or cluster 3? So first of all I will be calculating the distance of A6 from A1. So it is basically 6 minus 2 plus 4 minus 10. Okay, you might be thinking that this video is a bit iterative type video, the same thing is getting repeated again and again, but just wait until I just classify all the points, then there will be a next iteration. Okay, so we have to do those things because that's necessary. So I will tell you to watch the full video, okay, because there will be some iterations, like 2 or 3 iterations, and you also need to know when to stop the algorithm, right? You can't be doing this every time. So basically it is 6 minus 2 is 4 and 4 minus 10 is 6. So 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay, Now I will be calculating the distance of A6 from A4. So A6, A4. So what is the distance? It is basically 6 minus 5 plus what is 4 and 8. So it is 4 minus 8. So how much it is? 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay. Now I will be calculating the distance of A6 from A7 to check whether it belongs to cluster 3 or not. So what is A6? 6, 4 and A7 is 1, 2. So it is nothing but 6 minus 1 plus 4 minus 2. So what I am getting? So it is 2 plus 1. No, 5 plus 2, right? 5 plus 2 is 7. So I need the minimum one. So I need the minimum value. So the minimum value is 5 and it is associated with A4. And A4 belongs to which cluster? That is cluster 2. So I will be writing A6 over here. I will be writing A6 over here. Okay, so A6 belongs to this cluster. Now I already know that A7 belongs to this cluster. Here you can see that A7 is belonging to cluster 3. So there is no point in checking A7 because that will consume a lot of time and we don't want that because we are shortage of time in the exam. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to check to which cluster does the point A8 belong to, right? So what is A8? A8 is 4, 9. Okay, A8 is 4, 9. So I will first of all calculate the distance of A8 from A1, then A8 from A4 and A8 from A7, right? So first of all A8 and then A1. So what is the distance? It is nothing but this one with this one. Okay, so it is 4 minus 2 plus 9 minus 10, right? So what we get? 4 minus 2 is 2 and 9 minus 10 is 1, so it is 3. Next I have to calculate A8 with A4, right? So A8 and A4. So it is basically 4 minus 5 plus 9 minus 8. So what I am getting? 4 minus 5 is 1 and 9 minus 8 is also 1. So it is 2. Next A8 with A7, right? So what is A8? A8 is 4, 9 and A7 is 1, 2. So it is 4 minus 1 plus 9 minus 2. So it is 3 plus 7. So it is ultimately 10. So if I take the minimum, what I get? I get 2. So it is associated with which cluster? Which point? That is A4. And A4 belongs to which cluster? We know that it belongs to cluster 2. So A8 will belong to which cluster? A8 will also belong to cluster 2. There is no doubt in that. So finally we have clustered all the points or classified all the points in their respective clusters. But does that mean we need to end the algorithm? No, it does not mean that thing. Now what we need to do then? So basically now we have to recompute the new cluster means. Okay, so basically we need to compute the center of the clusters. Okay, we need to compute the center of the clusters. Okay, so I am just gonna be computing the center of cluster C1. So how will be computing the center of cluster C1? So see, in C1 there is only one data point, right? There is only one data point which is 2 comma 10. So we can't do anything. So the center of cluster C1 will be 2 comma 10 because there is only one data point. But in cluster 2 what we are seeing that we have multiple data points, so we can easily find the center of cluster 2. Okay, we can easily find the center of cluster 2. So how will we be finding the center of cluster 2? So we will be summing up the x coordinates of all the points and we will be dividing it by the total number of points. So how many points are there? There are 4 points. So we will be summing the x coordinate of all the 4 points and then dividing by 4, and in order to get the y component we will be summing all the y coordinates and dividing by 4. So x is nothing but the so what is the x coordinate of A4? The x coordinate of A4 is 5, right? So it is 5. What is the x coordinate of A6? So the x coordinate of A6 is 6, right? So here we go, 6. Now what is the x coordinate of A5? The x coordinate of A5 is 7, right? So oh, so the x coordinate of A5 is 7. So okay, so it is 7. And what is the x coordinate of A8? Tell me, what is the x coordinate of A8? The x coordinate of A8 is 4, it is 4. So we have to just divide this by 4. Okay, and okay, a4 a1, okay, wait, a2 a3 a4 a5 a6, okay. And in order to get the y coordinate, what we have to do, we have to just sum the y coordinates of all these data points. So what is the y coordinate of a4? What is the y coordinate of a4? It is 8, as you can see. So it is 8 plus, what is the y coordinate of a6? The y coordinate of a6 is 4. So it is basically 4 plus, what is the y coordinate of a5? What is the y coordinate of a5? It is 5 only. So 5. And what is the y coordinate of a8? So the y coordinate of a8 is 9, right? Okay, so 9 divided by how many data points are there? There are 4 data points. So if we solve them, so the center of cluster 2 becomes 6, 6. Similarly, I need to get the center of cluster 3. Okay, center of cluster 3. So for that we also need to do the same thing. We need to get sum of the x coordinate of all the data points, comma, we have to sum up all the y coordinates of all the data points and divide it by the total number of data points. So there are 3 data points, so we will be dividing by 3, right? Because you can see that there are 3 data points. Okay, now what are the x coordinate of a7, a3 and a2, right? The x coordinate of a2 is 2, then the x coordinate of a3 is 3, and the x coordinate of a7 is 1. So 2, 3 and 1. Okay, fine. So 2, 3 and 1. 2, 3, 1. We have to sum up, right? And for the y coordinate, what are the y coordinates of a7, a3 and a2? The y coordinates of a7, a3 and a2. So 5, 4 and 9. No, not 9, 2. So 5, 4 and 2. These are the y coordinates. So it is basically 5 plus 4 plus 1, right? So what I get 1.5 for the x coordinate and 3.5 for the y coordinate. Okay, so what are the center of cluster 3? Can you tell me what are the center of cluster 3? So the center of cluster 3 is 1.5, 3.5. So we have successfully found the center of clusters for all of these 3 clusters. Okay, so now I can successfully say that my iteration 1 is complete. Now I can successfully say that my iteration 1 is complete. Now I need to move to the next iteration, which is iteration 2. Okay, now how many times we have to do this iteration? We will stop the iteration when we see that in the next iteration the mean of the clusters that we get is same as the mean of the clusters that we have got in the previous iteration. For example, in iteration 1 we have got the center of cluster 1 as this, center of cluster 2 as this, and center of cluster 3 as this. In the next iteration, iteration 2, if we get the same mean for all the 3 clusters, then we have to stop the algorithm. And then so we will be looking at the iteration 2 and see whether if the means are equal or not, then we will be stopping the iteration. Okay, so let's watch it. So now let us make 3 new clusters. Okay, so this is the first cluster, this is the second cluster, this is the third cluster. Okay, now what is the center of cluster 1? It is 2, 10. So let me write over here 2, 10. What is the center of cluster 2? It is 6, 6. Okay, so let me write 6, 6. Okay, let me use a different color, that will make it look much more sexier, right? So it is 6, 6. What is our third cluster? Our third cluster is 1.5, 3.5. Let me make this cluster a bit bigger. Now the center is 1.5 and 3.5. Now we have to check to which cluster which point is belonging. Okay, so first of all let me write the points. The data points are C1 is, the first center is 210, the second center is 66, and the third center is 1.5 and 3.5. Please watch this video at 2x speed minimum, else you will never be able to complete the problem. Okay, so first of all we will see the first point A1, to which cluster will it belong. So 2 comma 10, and the center of the cluster is also 2 comma 10, so we know that the distance is 0. That's why A1 will belong to the first cluster. Okay, now we will next check the point A2. So what is A2? A2 is 2 comma 5. So let's check with A2, to which cluster does A2 belong. So first of all we will be comparing A2 with C1. So it is basically, what is A2? A2 is basically 2 comma 5, right? A2 is basically 2 comma 5. So let's compare A2 with C1. So A2 C1, so it is basically 2 minus 2 plus 5 minus 10. Okay, so it is basically 5. Okay, now we will be comparing A2 with C2. So it is basically 2 minus 6 plus 5 minus 6. So it is basically 4 plus 1, which is equal to 5. Next we will be comparing A2 with C3. So it is basically 2 minus 1.5 plus 5 minus 3.5. So what it is? What it is? Tell me. So it is 2 minus 1.5 is what? It is 0.5, and 5 minus 3.5, it is what? It is 1.5. So ultimately this is 2. So we have to take the minimum. So what is the minimum? Minimum is 2, and 2 is belonging to which center of cluster? C3. That means A2 will belong to C3, right? So A2 will belong to this cluster. Now we will be checking A3. Okay, right? A3. So we will be checking A3, to which cluster does A3 belong. Okay, so I am explaining in the best way possible, right? So I will be checking A3. So what is A3? What is A3? Tell me. So A3 is nothing but let me check what is A3. A3 is basically 3 comma 4, right? 3 comma 4. Now we have to check to which cluster does this A3 belongs. Okay, so first of all we will be checking A3 with C1, right? So A3 C1, so it is nothing but mod of 3 minus 2 plus 4 minus 10. So what I will be getting? So it is basically 1 plus 6, which is equals to 7. Next we will be checking A3 with C2. So that is basically 3 minus 6 plus 4 minus 6, right? So it is 3 plus 2, which is equals to 5. Next we will be checking A3 with C3. So it is basically 3 minus 1.5 plus 4 minus 3.5. So it is how much? 3 minus 1 is 2, and 1.5 is basically 1.5. So 4 minus 3.5, it is nothing but 0.5. So ultimately it is 2. Ultimately it is 2. So we have to take the minimum of the 3. So what is the minimum of the 3? It is 2, and that belongs to which cluster? C3. So A3 will belong to which cluster? A3 will belong to C3 cluster. Okay, now we will be comparing, we will be checking to which cluster does A4 belong. Okay, to which cluster does A4 belong? So what is A4? Tell me. A4. So which cluster? A4. A4 is nothing but 5 8, right? So 5 comma 8. Let's check. So it is A4 C1. First I will be checking A4 with C1. So it is basically 5 minus 2 plus 8 minus 10. Okay, so what I am getting? So 5 minus 2 is 3, and 8 minus 10 is 2. So 3 plus 2 is what? It is 5. Okay, next I will be checking A4 with C2. So A4 with C2, let's see the distance. So it is 5 minus 6 plus 8 minus 6. So it is 1 plus 2, which is equals to 3. Now I will be checking A4 with C3, right? So A4 C3, it is 5 minus 1.5 plus 8 minus 3.5. So it will be nothing but 5 minus 1 is 4, and 0.5 if I subtract is 3.5, and it is 4.5, right? This one is 4.5. So 3.5 plus 4.5, so it is basically 7.8, right? 8. right? So I have to take the minimum. So the minimum is 5, and that belongs to which cluster? C1. Therefore A1 will belong to the C1, right? So it will belong to this A4, right? A4 will belong to this thing. Now next we have to check for A5. Okay, next we have to check for A5. So please concentrate, please don't think of anything else, just concentrate on the problem. So we will be checking A5. So what is A5? Tell me. So A5 is nothing but 7, 5, right? So A5 is 7, 5. So we will be comparing the distances, okay, from all the center of clusters. So basically first of all we will be comparing A5 with C1. So A5 with C1 is nothing but it is 7 minus 2 plus 5 minus 10, right? So it is how much? It is 5 and 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. Next we will be comparing A5 with C2, right? So A5 and C2. So it is 7 minus 6 plus 5 minus 6. So it is basically 1 plus 1, that is 2. Next I will be comparing A5 with C3. So it is nothing but 7 minus 1.5 plus 5 minus 3.5. So how much it is? 7 minus 1.5, it is 5.5, and 5 minus 3.5, that is 1.5, right? So it is basically 5.5 plus 1.5, so it is 7.0. So it is basically 7. So we have to take the minimum. So what is our minimum? Our minimum is 2, and that belongs to which cluster? C2. That means A5 will belong to the second cluster. So A5 will belong to the second cluster, like this, okay? Next we have to check for A6 as well. So let's check A6. So it is very easy, just you need to know the iterative process. So we need to check A6. To which cluster does A6 belongs? So A6 is basically 6, 4. Okay, so we will be comparing the distances. Okay, so first of all A6 with C1. So it is basically 6 minus 2 plus 4 minus 10. So how much it is? 6 minus 2 is 4, and 4 minus 10 is 6. So it is ultimately 10. Okay, now A6 with C2. Okay, let's check A6 with C2. So what I'm getting, it is basically 6 minus 6 plus what? 4 minus 6. So it is how much? 6 minus 6 is 0, and 4 minus 6 is 4. So ultimately I'm getting, no, 4 minus 6 is 2, right? So it is basically 2. And then A6 with C3. So it is how much? 6 minus 1.5 plus 4 minus 3.5, right? This is what it is. So 6 minus 1 is 5, and 4.5, it is 4.5. 4.5, and this is I think 0.5. So it is basically 5. So I have to take the minimum. So what is the minimum? It is 2. It is associated with which cluster? Which center? C2. That means it is belonging to cluster 2. So A6 will belong to cluster 2, right? So A6 will belong to cluster 2. Next we have to check it for A7 as well as A8, obviously. So it is a very long process, but it is not difficult, right? It is not difficult. So let's check for A7. So what is A7? Tell me, what is the data point coordinate of A7? It is 1, 2. So we will be checking for C1, C2 and C3. So first of all we will be checking A7 with C1. So it is nothing but 1 minus 2 plus 2 minus 10. I hope you are getting how I am doing this. So it is how much? 1 minus 2 is 1, and 2 minus 10 is 8. So ultimately it is 9. And next A7 with C2. A7 with C2. So it is basically 1 minus 6 plus 2 minus 6. So how much it is? 1 minus 6 is 5, and 2 minus 6. We have to just take the value, not the sign. We have to ignore the sign. 1 minus 6 is what? It is 5, and 2 minus 6 is 4, right? So 5 plus 4. 5 plus 4 is how much? 9. Right? Correct? 5. Now A7 with C3. A7 with C3. I have to check that. So again I am just taking the modulus value. So it is 1 minus 1.5 plus 2 minus 3.5. Okay. So just take the absolute value. So 1 minus 1.5 is minus 0.5, but we have to just take the magnitude. So it is 0.5, and this is minus 1.5, but if we take the magnitude, that will be only 1.5. So it is 0.5 plus 1.5, which is basically 2. Now we have to take the minimum. So minimum is 2, and 2 is related with with which center? C3. So A7 is closely related to C3. That means A7 will lie in this cluster. Okay. Okay. So now I will check for A7 with, now next I will check for A8, right? A8 for the next cluster. Okay. A8. So what is A8? Tell me. What is the value of A8? A8 is nothing but 4 and 9, right? The coordinates are 4 and 9. So let me compare it with the clusters. So first I will see the distance between the centers. So A8 with C1. So it is basically 4 minus 2 plus 9 minus 10. So what it is? It is 2 plus 1, which is 3. Next, A8 with C2. So what is A8? What is the distance of A8 from the center C2? So it is nothing but 4 minus 6 plus 9 minus 6. I hope you are getting this minus this plus this minus this. So it is basically 2 plus 3, which is equals to 5. Now I will be finding the distance of A8 from C3. So A8 and C3. So it is basically 4 minus 1.5 plus 9 minus 3.5. So what it is? It is basically 4 minus 1.5 is 2.5, right? And then 9 minus 3.5 is 6.5, right? So 2.5 and 6.5. So it is basically 9. So we have to take the minimum. So obviously I am seeing that the minimum is 3, which is related with C1. That means A8 belongs to the center one. So A8 will lie in this region, right? To this cluster. Okay. So we have finally clustered or classified all the points in their respective clusters. Now what we have to do, we have to find the new centers, right? We have to find the new centers. That means the new center for this cluster, the new center for this cluster, and the new center for this cluster. So first of all, let me find the center of the cluster C1. So for that we need the x coordinate and y coordinate of the point A1, A4 and A8. So now let me do that thing. So I will be finding the center of the cluster C1. So for that I need the x coordinate of which points? A1, A4 and A8. So what is A1? Tell me. What is A1? 210. What is A4? What is A4? A4 is 58. And what is A4? Hey, wait. A1, A4 and A8. And A8 is 49, right? A8 is 49. So let's calculate the value of x coordinate and y coordinate. So x is basically 2 plus 5 plus 4, all the x coordinates, right, divided by 3. And what is y? Y is basically 10 plus 8 plus 9 divided by 3, all the y coordinates. So it is what? 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 2, 11, 11 upon 3. So what it is? It is 3.67 or something like that. This is our new center. And then what is y? Y is basically 10 plus 8 plus 9 is how much? 18 plus 9, it is 27, right? 27 upon 3. So it is basically 9. So the new center for the cluster C1 is 3.67, 9. So I'm just gonna be replacing everything with the new center, that is 3.67 comma 9. So this is the new center, okay, for this cluster. Now we have to calculate the new center for this cluster as well. For that we have A5 and A6 only, right? A5 and A6 only. Okay, so for cluster 2, A5 and A6. So what is A5? A5, let me see what is A5. A5 is 7.5 and A6 is 6.4. 7.5 and A6 is 6.4. So we need to calculate the x coordinate and y coordinates for both of them. So x is nothing but 7 plus 6 upon 2 because there are 2 data points, and y is nothing but 5 plus 4 upon 2 because there are 2 data points. So what is x? 7 plus 6. 7 plus 7 is 14, so 6 is 13. 13 by 2. 6.5. And what is y? Y is 5 plus 4, 9 by 2, it is 4.5. So the new center is 6.5 and 4.5. So let me write over here what is our new center. It is 6.5 and 4.5. So let me write over here 6.5, 4.5. Now we have to check for this cluster. Okay, this cluster. So for this cluster, what is A7? A7 is 1, 2. What is A2? What is A2? A2 is 2, 5. What is A3? Tell me what is A3? 8, 4. Now we will be calculating the new centers for the cluster 3. So what is X? X is nothing but 1 plus 2 plus 8 upon total data points is 3, and Y is what? 2 plus 5 plus 4 upon total data points, which is 3. So 8 plus 2 is 11, 11 upon 3. So it is I think 3.67. And let's see what is Y. Y is nothing but 5 plus 4, 9 plus 2, 11 by 3. So it is also 3.67. So it is 3.67 and 3.67. So the new center, what is the new center of this cluster? It is 3.67 and 3.67. This is the new center for this C3 cluster, and with that our iteration 2 comes to an end. With that our iteration 2 comes to an end. Okay, so we need to do now see one thing. Are the means same? Are the means same? Tell me. In the first what are the new centers? In the first iteration the new center is 210 for the first cluster, and in the second iteration the center is 3.67 and 9. Okay, in the first iteration the center for cluster 2 is 6, 6, but in the second iteration the center for cluster 2 is 6.5 and 4.5. Now in the first iteration the centers for cluster 3 is 1.5 and 3.5, but in the second iteration the centers of cluster 3 are 3.67 and 3.67. So the means are not matching. So if the means are not matching, then we have to go to iteration 3 again, and we have to keep doing this thing, finding all the means, classifying the centers in their respective clusters, all the data points, until we get the centers same, the centers of the current iteration. If the centers of the current iteration is equal to the centers of the next iteration, then we will stop the algorithm. Okay, so that's what it is. This is k-means clustering. I hope you have understood the video. I know it is a very long numerical, it is an iterative process, but we can't do anything, we have to do this. Okay, so thank you for watching.